Did you know that at Kansas State University you can now graduate with a degree in drones? Yep, K-State is one of the first schools in the nation to offer a Bachelor of Science in unmanned aircraft systems. While many of us think of drones as just the latest stealth weapon, those who make the aerial devices say they could soon be huge commercial money makers. But video of Hellfire missile strikes and the news this week that the FBI is using drones for domestic surveillance here in the United States is complicating the industry. On KCPT's The Local Show last night, KCPT's special correspondent Sam Zeff took us inside the K-State drone program. Here's an excerpt.
Okay, let's just get this part of the story out of the way right now. Admit it. This is how you think of drones, or as people in the drone business like to call them, unmanned aerial vehicles. And even though weaponized drones get the most attention, the world is quickly finding ways to commercialize them. A guy in Australia uses drones to sell real estate. FedEx has fantasies of using a drone similar to this one to move packages. And you probably saw this. Domino's little PR stunt in the UK using a drone to deliver pizza. But the most immediate drone applications might be right here in Kansas and Missouri. We're on I-70 heading westbound just outside of Abilene, and we're on our way to Salina, which is arguably the epicenter for drone research in the Midwest.
For about $1,500, we'll have an aircraft that can fly and do agriculture research. And in about an hour's worth of flying, we can fly about 800 to 1,000 acres.
This is the Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Lab at the K-State Salina campus, which is on the old historic Smoky Hill Air Force Base. We're getting a drone tour today from Program Manager Mark Blanks. Kansas State has been teaching aviation for years and was one of the first universities to get into drones. They believe the first large commercial use will be in agriculture.
We can tell if the plant is receiving adequate nourishment, if it's receiving adequate moisture, if the plant is stressed in any way due to pests or disease.
In the upper left corner here, we see the actual attitude of the aircraft. This looks like a traditional manned instrument, a manned airplane.
And that's the horizon?
Yes, the green is the horizon. This also tells us the airspeed, the altitude, the direction it's flying.
And here's the thing that is both really cool and just a little bit scary. All of these drones can be flown with a laptop and, in some cases, a tablet. The pilot will plot a course on the map and then, well, look at this. The drone can be launched off the top of a car, or there's a catapult that can instantly get it going 40 miles an hour. This may look like nothing more than model airplanes, but it's the cutting edge in drone technology.
You can see Sam's full report on drones on the rebroadcast of The Local Show Sunday evening at 5:30. Sam, what happened to those bills, both in Kansas and Missouri, that would have prevented any drones being used for domestic surveillance in Kansas or Missouri without a search warrant?
Neither of them came out of the legislature. In Missouri, it passed the House. In Kansas, it didn't come out of committee. Now, both of those bills are still alive, and both of their sponsors say that they will bring them up again when the legislatures reconvene next session.
Now, I also heard that MU also has now got a new drone journalism program. What's the purpose of that?
Well, the journalism program said it was to give them the ability to go, let's say, in flooding areas and other natures of that, where they could get overhead and get video of events like that, not for the purpose of spying or things like that, but simply where they could put a camera up and videotape. And with respect to that one, the people piloting that drone, they weren't as sophisticated as these. They'd have to be within 200 or 300 yards, and I think the drone would only fly about 20 feet into the air. So it's just simply getting access to where maybe our helicopters would in other instances.
But the concern, though, of legislators is that they may be used by to look at what's happening on farms in Missouri or Kansas, and it's journalists. It may be like a KCTV5 or another TV station using them to be looking at the stories. It is a concern about privacy.
Well, of course, yeah, there is a concern about privacy, but as I was walking in, part of this, we talked to the Kansas National Guard, and when I sat down to interview the Adjutant General, I asked him, well, how many surveillance cameras did I go through just to go from the gate to sit down here and talk to you? So the fact that if you think we're not being surveilled, we're being surveilled all the time, and indeed, we know that, the EPA Kansas City, Missouri Police Department has a helicopter. All these things are used for surveillance. They just happen to have a person in them.
With the FBI announcing this week, telling a Senate panel that yes, they've been using them for domestic surveillance in the United States already. Could they have already been used in Kansas and Missouri, Dave Helling? We've already been spied upon?
I keep wondering what's flying over my house. You know,
Yes.
like, what is that thing up there? I do think the concern that Sam talks about, Stacy, about public use of drone aircraft is one concern. That is police departments, Army, safety people. But there's a whole other issue about private use of these things and whether people can just go out and buy them off the shelf and in essence fly over your backyard, barbecue or anything else. And I think there will be some legislative attention paid to that as well.
Well, the FAA is writing rules right now. As it stands now, if the drones fly below 400 feet, pretty much anybody can do it. If they get above 400 feet, you have to have a pilot's license. This is all trying to control the civilian airspace.
Right, but the FAA will do nothing with respect to privacy. That's going to be a patchwork, state-by-state deal. Whether or not someone, particularly the police, can fly over your backyard fence and see what you're doing.
And ultimately
that's real privacy concerns.
And ultimately the federal government will get involved.
And the Kansas City Call has just purchased a drone?
Yes.
Okay, alrighty.